She's in Washington with ABC News. Good morning, Trish Turner.
Good morning.
We went to bed last night, and we woke up this morning, and the FBI sent their report to the Senate while we were sleeping?
That's right. In the wee hours, well after midnight, the report came up to the Hill. It's now under lock and key, and then at 8 o'clock, the briefings will start. First up are Republicans, and then they'll rotate blocks of time between Democrats and Republicans after that till everyone's done, all 100.
Is this top secret? Will this be released to the public? Will we ever find out what's in it?
Yeah, great question. The actual summaries of the agent's notes, that's what's coming up. That itself is it's called committee confidential. So it's not classified, but there's really big privacy concerns in these types of documents, and it happens all the time. What's happening different this time, though, is obviously we all know about it. There's great drama around this. The White House, the senators are aware of that, and so many of them are clamoring for some version of this report, some cleaned of privacy concerns, but something for public consumption. They're aware that that needs to happen. I would not be surprised, although they haven't decided just yet on what they're going to do.
What about, Washington leaks like a sieve. If they decide to keep it quiet, I'm sure each side will leak out the part that's beneficial to their side of the argument.
That's so true. So that's I think that's also another reason behind, look, we have to get something out to the public, because if not, our members are going to come out and then they're going to characterize it, the way that benefits them most. Because let's face it, most people going into this have already decided how they're going to vote on Kavanaugh. And so what they're going to take away from this, like you say, is whatever, is going to support your position. And so you're going to come out and characterize the report in a way that, that either looks good or looks bad. Most of the time this happens, no surprise there. But so I think that's why, some kind of executive summary, some version of this report will be made public. It's not a guarantee, but I think that's another big reason why they have to.
How extensive was this FBI investigation? We heard that it was limited in scope. Do we know anything about that?
Right. We never could get the actual directive from the White House. And so what we're left with is the concerns of people we know who might have been witnesses, especially like one of the accusers, Deborah Ramirez, for instance. There are a number of the witnesses she handed over who were the subject of that big New Yorker article on this particular case. They said, I was never contacted by the FBI. One guy who said at the time, he's 100% certain that he was told right at the time of this incident with Deborah Ramirez, allegedly Brett Kavanaugh exposed himself in her face, that he was told at the time exactly what happened, the way Ramirez said it. And he is 100% certain that Brett Kavanaugh's name was used, and yet the FBI never interviewed him. And so he was so frustrated, he actually sent his statement through an FBI online portal because he didn't know what else to do. So you are going to have people say this report's, investigation. They're already saying it. This is not complete. This is not fair. Blasey Ford and Kavanaugh, they weren't interviewed either by the FBI, and so there are lots of problems with that for critics of this investigation.
Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Jeff Flake, Joe Manchin, Heidi Heitkamp. Those are the senators everyone's paying attention to. Have they said anything one way or the other? What's their latest statements on all this?
Not at all. They're not saying anything at all. They want to read this report. Their aides aren't talking to us either. They want to sit down. They want to ask questions. They want to see the notes, and make the decision for themselves. I would say only Flake has kind of told us that unless there's some blatant, bombshell in this that sticks out, he's going to support this nomination. But he was on that track earlier. His big thing was, look, I think there just needs to be an investigation because, our country's being torn apart. So we should do this for the integrity of the process.
And then the vote is scheduled for tomorrow, correct?
Procedural vote tomorrow. That's a key test vote. So the senators will see where their positions are then, and then final confirmation is likely later in the day on Saturday, into the evening probably.
Trish Turner, chock full of information, getting up early for us.
We try.
Trish,
We aim to please.
Thanks for checking in, Trish. Have a good day.
Take care. You too.
You got it.